We've got the all-new BMW X2.
Is this the sportier X1?
Oh, see, performance-wise, BMW doesn't disappoint.
Doesn't disappoint. Also spendy, Andrea. All right, so first of all, let's get into the power. What's under the hood of this thing?
A 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. 241 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. That's an extra 13 horsepower and 37 pound-feet of torque compared to the previous model. Standard all-wheel drive, and with every tank of fuel, you'll get about 644 kilometers, 400 miles.
If 241 horsepower isn't enough, you can get the M35. It has 312 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. So BMW does charge a slight premium for the X2, so let's get into it. What do you get? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 10.25-inch digital driver display, a 10.7-inch touchscreen, BMW Operating System 9 with navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, leatherette upholstery, heated power front seats with driver's seat memory, ambient lighting, remote engine start, and a power tailgate. In the US, heated front seats are not standard.
Well, a whole new interface in here. We've got the My Modes. What mode are we going to put it in, Andrea?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram to see what's going on behind the scenes. Also to get a question in, more on that halfway through the video. For me, it's Motormouth_auto, and the links are below the like button. Okay, I'm going to come out and say it right now. I'm not totally sold on the way this thing looks, but what I am sold on is the way it drives. Are you agreeing?
I agree. Such agile handling. This is a performer. You will not be disappointed with the X2. Plenty of power in this model. I wouldn't even move up to the M35i.
Neither would I. No.
Yeah.
What do you need all that for?
No, the steering is precise. Wow, it takes the corners beautifully. This X2 compared to the previous model has an improved suspension, damping system, so it's more comfortable on those longer trips, but also it does a better job of eating up the imperfections in the road, yet it's still keeping that performance that you really love.
Okay, so we should back up just a little bit. BMW also owns... Please stop. Don't ask me anything. Oh,
Try it once.
No, go away.
Cancel.
Please try it.
Cancel. Go away. This.
What is our...
You just have to say
Could you repeat that, please?
cancel.
So what you have...
I didn't... Please try again in surroundings that are as quiet as possible.
Cancel.
So what you can't say in the company of this car is the B and the M and the W. You can't say them together.
Don't say it together.
You can't say, or she'll wake up again. I was going to say, this brand also owns another brand called Mini.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Okay, it doesn't like that. They also have Mini, and both brands are focused on driving satisfaction, fun, and this is built on the same platform that is shared with the Countryman. So it is a great handling car. It's a front-wheel drive bias, all-wheel drive system, but you know what? I think anybody who drives this will come away with a smile on their face.
Oh man, it's just so fun. It just doesn't disappoint. The only thing that's disappointing is the start-stop function in here.
Yeah.
It's coming up in our hot topic, so we're going to dive into it then. But that would be our biggest complaint. So stick around for that. Now the M35i model comes with the M adaptive suspension, but you can get it in this model if you get the M Sport package, and that's going to get you that suspension, but also the black exterior accents, all the M badging, the M steering wheel, and the sport seats, which are comfortable.
And that's what we have on this one. And why don't we just jump into it, Andrea? I don't love the outside of this. I'm just not sold on the styling. I think the X1 is more upright and more sort of traditional SUV shape. But we've seen a trend with BMW to a lot of angles and shapes. I don't know. There's just something about their new cars. They're just kind of leaving me a bit cold.
I agree with you. The X1 I prefer so much more. I actually like the exterior styling. This one, I keep looking at it, trying to like it, and I think I figured out why I don't.
What is it?
It has got the M Sport package on it, so you've got all this high gloss black exterior trim. And so I went online and I looked at it without it, and it does have a lot of body colored elements to it, and I think that looks better. But I'm with you. I just don't love the exterior styling.
Yeah, so the X1 is the more traditional shape. This has got the fly back roof, and they also look like they stretch out the back just a little bit more to give it a sportier silhouette. So you're going to decide whether you think it's going to stop your heart every time you see it. Like, are you going to lock this car and walk away and turn back and look at it?
Zach, I tried.
Yeah.
I really tried.
When you walk away, I turn around and look at you, Andrea.
Oh man, that's the right answer again. You're so good at that.
Am I? Uh-huh.
Now this comes standard with LED headlamps. You've got cornering lights on it as well. LED tail lamps, 19-inch wheels available, 20-inch and 21-inch. We're riding on 20-inch wheels. We've got non-run flat tires and a tire repair kit. The X2 gets some great ground clearance, 8.1 inches.
So this interior, we're going to talk more about it in Questions, Coffee and Cars, is the latest from BMW, and it's one of those situations where it's a step forward and 2 steps back. They got rid of a lot of the controls, the iDrive system, everything's on the screen. So sure, it's the latest technology, but is it better?
I think that's really the question. You know, when I get into the current model X3, I just love the technology in it. I know it's not up to date, but it's got all the buttons and the knobs, and you've got the center console dial, and it's just easy to use. Now, this takes some time because everything is in the screen. Eventually you get it, but give yourself some time to learn it.
All right, so Andrea, we just switched, and Andrea's got the bum warmer on, and I don't want the bum warmer on, so I have to go in the screen to turn that off.
Same with the heated steering wheel.
There used to be a button before. I mean, I don't know. This everything in the screen thing is, I don't think it's better. It isn't better. Cars that still have some hotkeys, in my opinion, because we drive 100 cars a year, it's better.
Now, one good thing is that the drive modes are at the center console here. You can also do it in the screen, but at least you've got it here.
No,
and there is
I just want to say something about the drive modes.
Oh yeah, you've got to go into the
drive
screen.
modes, all that does is turn wake the screen up.
That's right.
You don't actually do it on the screen. You still have to go
You still
and
have
touch
to do it.
I mean, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just cycle through all the different modes by repeatedly hitting that?
Yeah.
No. That's the kind of thing. It's like, why?
Now there is a volume roller.
Thank God.
We've got that. But overall, I would say the interior is very comfortable. The seats are comfortable. The seating position in here is quite nice. I mean, it does feel like a crossover. So BMW has done a lot well there.
And good materials as well. Okay, so now we're going to get into what is available on the X1. If you've ever been on the BMW website, you know a lot of features are bundled into packages. So you can get extra features like a head-up display, parking assist plus with surround view, a Harman Kardon sound system, wireless charger, heated steering wheel, a panoramic sunroof that does not open, and video augmented reality navigation. So here's me getting in the back seat. It's surprisingly roomy in the legroom department. Even headroom isn't that bad. How does it stack up?
Comparing the BMW X2 to the X1, the X2 offers 40.3 inches of front row legroom and 36.7 inches of second row legroom, which is marginally less than the X1. The significant difference comes in headroom because the X2 has a coupe-like style.
Open the power lift gate, and this thing has a very big cargo area. Sure, you lose some space because of the cropped hatch, but under the floor, there's no spare tire. There is an enormous extra cargo well.
The X2 cargo space behind the second row is 25.3 cubic feet, and overall cargo space 51.7 cubic feet, which is less than the X1 because of the shape of the vehicle.
Lots of questions about the interior.
Time now for Questions, Coffee and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Seats are on point as always. Buttons for a shifter though, come on BMW, you know better. This does take getting used to. I mean, it's not something that I'm used to. We see even Porsche moving to this. I prefer just a traditional shifter, but I have heard, remember that gentleman we met on the plane? He bought a Porsche Cayenne S. And
with the little toggle shifter.
Yeah, and I said to him, oh gosh, how do you like that toggle shifter? Do you know what he said? I love it.
Yeah, well, what I think you got to remember what this does is because it's all electronic. It's not a cable connected shifter like years ago. This offers the floating console underneath and makes it very streamlined. What takes getting used to is you don't put it in park. There's a button for park, or you just turn the car off and it goes into park automatically. It's not the end of the world. You do get used to it, but it's just different. But 2 weeks, maybe
you'll forget about it. And this space underneath
it's handy.
The console is really nice. It does look streamlined and it's comfortable when you put your elbow on there. Love the space not sold on the interior. It feels like a mix of modern and traditional that doesn't really blend well. 2 different browns on top of the silver is a lot.
Well, Andrea commented before we start, Andrea, that you said it's a bit too busy for your taste.
There's just a lot going on in here, different textures, different materials being used. We have some packages on this trim. You don't have to get it this way. There are so many trims and different color options to choose from. You can really make it your own. I like that they didn't go with piano black in here.
I was just going to say, we drove the BMW i5.
Yeah.
And it had all of I thought they were quite gaudy and tacky looking backlit plastic pieces on the dash.
Yes.
This is more substantial and normal feeling, with the exception of all touchscreen interface.
Yes, for sure. But I do like that they've gone with aluminum here. It's very bright against this mocha interior. But I agree with you. There is a lot going on in here. But that is just the way this particular model is spec'd. How does this compare in terms of interior space to a Q3 or X3?
Q3 or X3? Well, it is a lot smaller than X3. And X3, interestingly enough, the current X3 is bigger than the original X5.
I know.
Like the X3 has really grown in size. And I think for a lot of people, that's really all they need. Backseat space in that is excellent. But this is also excellent because this is based on a front-wheel drive platform. So the engine, instead of running this way, runs this way. They can push the cab forward. You've got a lot of space in here. What you lack on this model is headroom.
Yeah, and the Q3, believe it or not, it's a good size too. This is bigger. This offers more front row and second row legroom, as well as headroom. This is a lot bigger now, this X2, compared to the previous model. It's 7.6 inches longer. It offers more than half an inch in width and 2.5 inches in height. That's a much bigger model.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Is the transmission jerky off the line? I've heard that about the X1. Okay. Have you got it out of sport mode?
It's out of sport mode.
Okay.
So now you lift off and the auto start stop comes on, and that transition from the auto start stop to getting on the power can be jerky. And I'm going to show a clip. This is Andrea pulling up to a stop sign. And she stops for a fraction of a second. In that fraction of a second, the auto start stop kicked in, and she had to wait for the engine to start again before she could drive.
Yeah.
That is not that good.
No, I don't like it, and I'm not used to this from a BMW. Usually when it comes to performance, it's perfection, really. Now, if you put it in sport mode, it deactivates it. So that's how we have been driving it.
You have to hit the mode button first.
Go into the screen.
And then you go into the screen. But there's another hack.
What's
You
that?
just push down the drive selector into sport transmission.
And there you go.
And that deactivates the auto start stop.
And it's a lot smoother. So it's not the dual clutch transmission that's the problem. It's the start stop. Now, we reached out to BMW Canada to ask them about this, and is it possible to do a software update? You can't do an over-the-air update, but it may be able to be done at the dealer.
So this is what they call a logical transmission. It learns your driving style. These have been around for a long time. It can tell whether you're doing a lot of city driving, highway driving, and it changes the characteristics of the transmission as you go. So the PR rep from BMW Canada said it might smooth out over time, but in our experience with this model, auto start stop is a fail.
Yeah, we do not like it. So I really hope they can do something about it because it is frustrating.
All right, so let's get into now, what are the vital stats like fuel economy and more?
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. In Canada, the pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. This xDrive 28i starts at just under $53,000, and the M35i is just over $63,000. In the US, the 28i starts at $42,000, and the M35i just under $51,500.
Here's the fuel economy. 9.7 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.1 on the highway. That's 24 miles per gallon city, 33 miles per gallon highway. Just like the X1, the X2 is not rated for towing. BMW offers a warranty of 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, or 50,000 miles. Complimentary scheduled maintenance is covered for 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. So now we're going to jump into subcompact luxury crossovers. What else can you choose?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
First is the BMW X1 with the same powertrain as the X2, but with a lower starting price of just over $50,500.
The Audi Q3 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 228 horsepower, and a starting price of $47,500.
The Mercedes-Benz GLA with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 221 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $51,000.
The Cadillac XT4 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 235 horsepower, and an all-wheel drive starting price of just over $48,000.
So there are 4 subcompact crossovers for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
This X2 is a performer. It's fun to drive.
I think it's very comfortable.
Well, I'd like to see the stop-start function corrected.
Yeah, fixed, tweaked. And the styling's a bit too busy for me.
Yes.
All right, so what do you think of that? It's the BMW X2.
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.